Greetings, one. It is time for the October wrap-up, spooky season 2023. I started mid-September with the spooky stuff. I started reading all of the True Blood, Sookie Stackhouse novels pretty early on, and I was like 3 or 4 books in. And I started watching the True Blood TV show. I've got a list here, by the way. Vamps, ghosts, demons, aliens. I'm trying to see how many of each I've read. There's probably some more stuff that I haven't thought of. Exorcising and seances. Seances would be ghosts. Exorcising would be demons. I'm trying to keep them separate. Some of them might be a little bit weird. So yeah, I was watching True Blood, reading True Blood. When I started counting, though, I think I started officially saying it was spooky season after I'd read a fantasy novella, so I'm not counting those ones. So, first thing was London Seance Society. I read the book. It was mediocre. Kind of like set in Victoria in the 1800s, which I didn't really like. But, good story. That's one for the ghosts. You can watch my book review on that if you want to see what that was about. Second thing I watched was the Unbinding documentary by Planet Weird, people that made Hellier. It's about this haunted object. They have a haunted objects podcast. It's like this little, they call it the crone. It's a little wooden statue with a noose hung around its neck, and somebody found it in a cave, and they sent it to them, and they thought it was haunted. And they tried to do like a ritual to free the spirit, which I guess you would say demon on that one, or a ghost. I'm gonna say demon, even though it wasn't really a demon. There was some kind of like Indian kind of religion, I think they may have linked it to. I don't know if they proved any of it, but it was a really good documentary. Also, maybe joining their Patreon club, because if they have like archived all their live streams where they do like paranormal experiments with these haunted objects, it'd probably be worth the money. And they're working on Hellier Season 3 still. I think they're still writing it and doing some more research and stuff. Then I watched Renfield, the Dracula movie with Nicolas Cage as Dracula, and I forget that one guy's name. I don't even know if I knew his name. The guy that played Renfield. It was kind of a comedy, not really. It was like kind of half comedy, half horror. Did I see a spirit or something just like fly through right there? Or am I imagining things? It is Halloween. So yeah, Renfield, can't remember anything really specific about it, except he kept getting, like, he was really fucked up at the beginning, and Dracula kept getting better and better as he kept bringing in more guys, but he didn't want to, like, go get him bodies anymore, or people to bring back for him to, like, drain. It's a pretty good movie. Then I watched the Pope's, oh, that was a vampire song, it's more for the vampires. Then I watched The Pope's Exorcist. That'd be demon, right? That was about... was it the guy from Gladiator? I always get him mixed up with the guy from Law Abiding Citizen. Or is that the same guy? Russell... something? I don't know. Anyway, I think part of it was in Latin. And he was like the exorcist for the Pope. And there was some kind of really bad... I'm getting it mixed up with The Nun, too, because I watched The Nun. I watched like a lot of exorcism stuff. I'm getting them confused. Pope's Exorcist was pretty good, from what I remember. This was like the earlier stuff I'm not going to remember as good, because this was like a month ago when I saw this, probably. Maybe this was about the 1st of October. Then I read Dead to the World. That's the Sookie Stackhouse novels number 2 or 4. So that's another one for the vamps. And then you can watch my book video on that. Last Voyage of the Demeter. This is the movie about Dracula. Another one for the vamps. This is like a vamp heavy beginning, by the way. So when there's a part of the book, if you read Bram Stoker, when he's being shipped from Europe to America, I think. Or was it from Transylvania to England, maybe? They had to cross over the ocean, and they shipped him in like this coffin full of dirt. But in the movie, there's like a lot of coffins of dirt. Like, why do you have so much dirt? maybe he has to have like certain kind of soil from his homeland or something he's taking with him, where he's going to like establish a new castle over there. And you already kind of know how it's going to end if you've read Bram Stoker, because he ends up making it to England and like being Dracula over there, right, or wherever it was. It wasn't in America. I'm pretty sure it was England. But he didn't really look like a person at all. He was just like a monster with like flying around with wings and drinking people's blood. Until the very end, he's kind of like taking on a human shape, but you can still see he's kind of a monster. And they're all like trapped on this old wooden ship with him. But like the daytime's fine. I don't know why they can't find him. It's just a ship. Like, how big can a ship be that you can't figure out where he's at? Like, then they realize he can fly, so he can kind of go away from the boat and then come back. It's pretty weird. Then I started to read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and I DNF'd it. I guess I just put zombies on here. That's one for the zombies. I didn't like it. I didn't realize Pride and Prejudice is supposed to be kind of a comedy. Or the movie is supposed to be a comedy. I don't know about the Jane Austen book, if that's supposed to be a comedy or not. I thought it was just really tedious and boring the way they talk. And they just take forever explaining something when they just want to say, like, a simple statement. And apparently that's supposed to be funny for some people. I don't know. I didn't get it. I thought it was garbage. Maybe I'll go back and finish it. Or watch the movie. But anyway, then I watched The Nun Part 2. Which is a James Wan directed. I think. He directed all the Conjuring movies and the first Nun. I'm pretty sure he directed this one. And all of those are just automatically good. That would be Demon, right? The Nun. It's kind of a ghost, but I'm going to call it Demon because it's like they're involving exorcism and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the woman that plays the nun, not the ghost nun, the demon nun, but the younger nun that's going to this old convent. I can't even remember, like, what was the deal? It was like a boarding school that was built on top of an old church or something, and they started having the nun show up. I remember it was good, but I can't remember fuck all about it. Anyway, then I watched Pet Sematary Bloodlines. I should just put Stephen King on here because he's got his own category. Pet Sematary Bloodlines is a sequel to the original Pet Sematary movie that was based on the book. So this one's not really based on anything. It's supposed to be like a prequel from what's that guy's name? Russ Crandall or something like that. The guy that says you don't want to go down that road, not that road now. When he was a younger person, how he like found out about the Pet Cemetery in the beginning. I don't think it was that great though. I never really understood Pet Cemetery. Everybody says the book is so amazing. I've never read it. I need to read it just to see what the big deal is. And then I started watching this old TV miniseries. I think it's on Netflix now. The Rose Red, which is supposed to be based on something by Stephen King. There's no books called it. It must be one of these like short story collections. So that's another one for Stephen King. Rose Red, it's about like a bunch of paranormal investigators. They get hired to go to this old mansion. It's kind of like the Winchester house, where it like keeps getting bigger over time and nobody can explain like how. It's like if you go count the number of rooms one day and the next day it'll be different. It's like it has a house with a life of its own. And this one young girl's like this super powerful psychic. Like Stephen King always does, like super powerful young girls. For some reason, they're like little kids with like psychic abilities. I only watched the first part. There's like 3 parts to it, so I need to watch some more of that. And then I started watching Buffy season 1. That'll be a vampire. It does not hold up. I know it's supposed to be like this classic horror show, but it's so dumb. It's just like, what was it, like 90s? And like everything was just weird back then. Just go watch it and you'll see what I mean. It's just like it's not like the cinematography. It's like the writing is kind of bad and like predictable, and like the acting is bad, and like the vampires don't really look like vampires. Just I might watch some more of it just because. There's all these references and stuff. I just still haven't gotten to the angel guy. Look what his deal is. And then I watched Hereditary. The Hereditary everybody talks about. I should watch a trailer to remind myself because I can't remember that much about it. I just remember it was like... most of the movie I'm thinking like, is this a horror movie, right? It's supposed to be horror. Like, it's more about like dealing with the loss of somebody. And then only at the very end, I could tell they were trying to do horror, but I just started laughing my ass off. Because the person that's supposed to be like a ghost or a demon or whatever, they just start like swimming sideways in the air. Like they didn't know how to be a ghost or something. They're just like, what the fuck was that? Like just swimming through the air? Like, did y'all film this right? Did somebody fuck up with the wire work? What's going on? And then all of a sudden there's like this cult, and they're in the tree house, and like they're humans, so they knew what was going on the whole time or something. And like, I didn't understand. Like, it was the dumbest ending, I thought. It was a pretty good movie. It just wasn't that horror or scary. But I guess some people maybe think it was or something. Or maybe I'm just missing the point. I can't even remember what the story was about really now. It's just like, who died in it? I know like somebody lost their brother or sister, right? And the family was coping with it. Is that what happened? Then they found out maybe the mother or the father did it for this cult. I can't remember like what the hell the story was. I'd have to watch a trailer maybe. I guess you would put that down as ghosts or cult. Like there wasn't even anything until the very end, and I didn't know what it was. It was just like, it's not a zombie. All right, so then Evil Dead Rise. I watched that one. That was really good. I wasn't like the Necronomicon, so that's kind of like zombies, right? Or ghosts, or demons. I don't know what you would call it, just evil. I remember I really enjoyed it. I think it was a female protagonist, which kind of made me think it was going to be woke. There wasn't any Ash... Not Ash Ketchum, that's the Pokemon guy. What's his name? Ash... something? With the chainsaw. There was a chainsaw, I remember. Because I keep getting surprised, like, how these chainsaws in movies are so reliable. They always start when mine never fucking works right. And you can just leave them on the ground and they run without even, like, holding the gas, too. They don't just, like, shut off like mine does. I remember the TV show was probably... I don't know if it would be better than that movie, but it was pretty good, too. The Evil Dead TV show. Then I read Salems Lot. I don't think it's a movie or a TV series. If it is, I haven't found it or noticed it yet. Maybe I'll look it up later. That's another one for Stephen King. Salem's Lot is named after this pig named Jerusalem. He went off into this woodlot. I don't know why you would name a town after that. And I'm totally getting it confused with the Tommyknockers. Did I already talk about the Tommyknockers? I didn't talk about Tommyknockers. I watched that like in September. That should be on here. I should count that as Stephen King too. Watch my book review on that one if you want to see about the Tommyknockers. I will talk about it later because I watched the TV series on the Tommyknockers. But Salem's Lot. What in the fuck was... Oh yeah, that's the one with Callahan. I kept expecting Callahan from the Dark Tower series to be like this main character, you know, and he's gonna like banish these demons away. Was it about demons? What the fuck was it? There was a ghost or demons? What the hell was the deal? I have seen so many different things in the last month and a half. It's just like my brain is getting all of it jumbled. But Callahan just like goes off and gives up because the evil is taking over the town, and the town just becomes evil, and it's just like unsalvageable. And the people that are trying to save the day, they end up not saving the day. Until the end, it kind of hints that they went back later to try to save the town, but just evil just won, and it was just kind of a sad story of evil triumphing. Then I watched a couple episodes of The Fall of the House of Usher, which is on Netflix, and it's about Edgar Allan Poe's story, I think, right? but it's kind of set like in a modern day kind of Succession or Billions kind of a setting where like these are the super elite wealthy people called ushers, and they're all like this children of this one guy who just slept with a lot of different women, so they all have different ethnicities, and it's kind of a ghost story. So I'll put that as a ghost story in a way because he's talking. I like when they have like a story that has a narrator and he's telling all the story about what happened to him. And he's talking to this guy that's a police officer, and the police officer had told him that one of his children was like giving him information that's going to get him put in prison. So they're all trying to figure out which one of these kids is the one that did it. And what I think happened was the police officer lied, and nobody was even giving up information. He was just like playing the trick the police do when they always lie to you to get you to confess and stuff. So the kids end up killing each other or end up dying in weird ways and unsolved circumstances. Like one of them, like the kid has like this rave party, very exclusive with all these like famous celebrities and stuff, and then they all get cooked in acid because it's supposed to be water coming out of the sprinklers and it's acid. Pretty disturbing. So then I read Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. That one I enjoyed. It was about a rock star who buys a suit online. It's supposed to be the suit that somebody's stepfather had died in, and it was supposed to be their ghost here. He's like buying a ghost. Turns out to be it really is a ghost, and the ghost tries to kill him because it was a trick. The woman that sold it to him, her sister was the one that died because she was dating the rock star, and he kind of like sent her away, and she killed herself. Spoiler alert, none of that happened. She was going to use his lawyers, the rock star's lawyers, to like arrest her stepfather, who is the ghost, because he had been molesting her. So she didn't kill herself, they killed her. And now they're trying to kill him to cover it up? That doesn't make sense. Why would they need to do that? If they killed her, they could just not have anything to do with the rock star and they would have gotten away with it scot-free. So why did the stepfather... Did he die in natural causes, or did he kill himself to become a ghost to fight it? Maybe they wanted revenge on him. I don't remember. It was a good book, though. I enjoyed it. 4.5, I think I gave it. I'm going to put that, even though he's Stephen King's son, I'm going to put that under Ghost. That is a Doornail. Sookie Stackhouse number 5. I read up to that. That's another one for the Vamps. I think I gave it a lower rating than I did the other Sookie Stackhouses. Now this one, I was watching, or I was listening to the podcast, Harmontown, and what's the guy's name? I'm remembering all these names is very hard for me. You're supposed to only be able to remember like 150 names, but I know I'm like way more than that. Jeff B. Davis. He was always, in this one episode, him and Aaron McGathy were talking about, maybe it was somebody else, he was on somebody else's podcast, and they were talking about musicals. And he starts talking about like Cabaret and My Fair Lady, and it really got me into wanting to watch musicals, so I downloaded those two. And then I've always kind of wanted to see what Rodgers and Hammerstein and what's that guy's name? Sondheim? Yeah, these people that do these like songs. It's supposed to be super popular. Like, if you ever watch the Treehouse of Horror Simpsons episodes, or maybe it was like just a regular Sideshow Bob episode where he does like the HMS Pinafore song. There's supposed to be like a play that's in. I think it's called the HMS Pinafore. I don't know. But like, I haven't really seen any musicals. I always thought it was gay. I've never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show because I thought it was gay. And I think I'm right. I think a lot of it is just super gay. That's why only like gay dudes are into it. So I don't know how far I'm going to go with it. But some of these old things with like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Yeah, that's her name. They're supposed to be really good. And I feel like I'm missing a piece of culture that I should have seen. So for Halloween, I watched Sweeney Todd, Demon Barber of Fleet Street. It has Johnny Depp, and it has Helena Bonham Carter. They had like two other. She played the evil woman on Harry Potter, and it had Snape, Alan Rickman. He was in it, and it had the guy that played Wormtail, Peter Pettigrew. See, I've got way too many names in my head. That's way more than 150. He has the craziest face. That guy that plays Wormtail, Peter Pettigrew. Very strange. He looks like a pig with flabby jowls, and he can make all these weird expressions. But like the thing about musicals is that, I don't know, the singing when you're trying to like tell a story and the characters like don't acknowledge that you're just singing at random, just kind of weird and cringy. And then there's like maybe 3 or 4 songs, and they just like repeat each song twice. Is like most musicals like that? Like they sing the same song again at a different point in the story that it makes sense. And also the makeup and stuff. Like Johnny Depp always looks like he's dirty, and his teeth are nasty, and his fingernails are nasty. And is like that just the makeup, or is it just really like that? I don't know. It just kind of grosses me out. And she's making like these meat pies with like rotten meat and shit. And it's like, the story was kind of meh too. Like, he gets sent away because his girlfriend gets stolen by this rich guy, which is Snape, and he's gone for like 15 years, and he comes back and finds out his girlfriend or his wife had killed herself, and so he's going to get revenge on all the people that had it happen, and he just starts cutting their throats and like dumping them in his basement. Great plan, I guess. I don't know. He had pretty cool knives, but I mean, kind of like reminds you of Edward Scissorhands too, because he was in that. It's kind of like get you confused. Sweeney Todd though, what would you even put that under? It's not a demon or an alien. I have no aliens so far. Let's just put it under musical, I guess. Then I watched The Haunting of the Queen Mary. Now this one, based on an actual real haunted ship, I was surprised at their casting choices of having like a black guy and a white woman that are investigating the ship, and they have a son who has dwarfism. He looks like the guy that played on Willow. I can't remember his name, but the way he walks is very similar. He's got that kind of weird deformity. Like some dwarves do not. They have like they're more body proportions are more correct, I guess. This one is not. He's got this like waddle like a duck. So he's walking around in these haunted boat areas with his camera, like taking pictures, and he's looking around with his weird face. And you know, he's like super vulnerable. You know, like anybody, he can't outrun a ghost if something chases him. It's fine. This would be a ghost. Someone put that in a ghost. And it just adds to the tension of it, and he kind of gets killed, but no, he doesn't. Does he get killed, or does he become part of the ghost on the ship because they come back because they're trying to like free his spirit and find his camera that was in the swimming pool on the bottom or something like that? And then the boat captain, he's like tied to the ship in this weird way. I don't remember. It wasn't that great of a movie, but I really liked that, how they cast that. I mean, it was weird, but it was like creepy, super creepy. That kid. He's supposed to be like 8, I think, but he's like a dwarf, so you can't tell how old he's supposed to be. Like, is this guy 30? Is he supposed to be 8? You have to like use context clues to figure out how old he is. Because at one point he says like, "I'm not 4 anymore, Mom." I'm like, what are you, 5? Are you like 50? Well, how old are you? I mean, obviously he has to be younger than his mom and dad. I guess he was 8. Let's just call him that. Then I read Michael Crichton, Eaters of the Dead, which is supposed to be about people that eat dead, so zombies, I thought. So it wasn't really about zombies, it was about Neanderthals that apparently were around. This makes like a a theory kind of that they could have been around when the Vikings were around. So this guy from the Middle East goes, he's like the 13th warrior sent on this expedition to the north to find these people that were like cannibals, but that's not why they were fighting them. Can't even remember. He just gets sent on this mission. I don't know. It wasn't really that Halloween-y either. There's like a movie based on it. With Antonio Banderas, the Mexican, playing a guy from Saudi Arabia. But that's why I'm not probably going to watch it. I don't even know what category to put that under. I'm just going to put it under zombies, I think. Yeah. Then I watched one episode each of Walking Dead Dead City and Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. So, 2 more for the zombies. Let's just count it that way. The Daryl Dixon one, he's in France. And he doesn't have his crossbow anymore. And then, like, it's kind of weird. I mean, they do some kind of dumb stuff in those Walking Dead movies. There's just one scene where, like, the guys are coming after him with guns. And all these nuns are like, it's time we fight back. And they all get a bunch of, like, halberds and shit. Like, what are y'all going to do with halberds? Like, they had guns. They had the walls stacked with, like, Uzis and shit. And they're like, get the halberds. And they all just got shot to death. Like, what the fuck? You stupid? Did you not have any ammo or something? The Dead City, it's about New York City. So it's just cram-packed with zombies. But there's people like dropping zombies off of rooftops and stuff. Is that the one that Negan is kind of... Yeah, Negan's in it, too. And he's with... What's her name? Where he killed her husband with the bat. So I'm not really caught up on all the other Walking Deads, with the Fear the Walking Dead and the regular Walking Dead and the one with the super woke black girl that's leading the party. The fat black chick that's leading the group out into fight zombies. I didn't even watch the second one of that because I thought it was stupid. So I didn't really understand a whole lot of what was going on. So I'm like, am I like halfway through my list? Yeah, I think I'm over halfway now. I've seen a lot of stuff last month. So then I watched, I think this was John Carpenter, The Thing. This is one I've heard a lot of people talk about. I've heard Angry Nintendo Nerd talk about it. It's like an alien movie. First one for the aliens. So there we go. Oh, Tommyknockers was aliens. Let me put that on that. No, that was Stephen King. Never mind. But also aliens. I don't know. The Thing is like the Antarctic base. There's this wolf running along the snow, and there's a helicopter chasing it, shooting at it. So you think it's just some like asshole hunters. And then the wolf makes... It's not a wolf, it's a dog, but it looks like a wolf. And then he goes up and he starts jumping on people, and he's like their friend. So then the Swedish people, not Russians, they were Swedes, I think, or Norwegians. They land and they start shooting at this dog, even though he's like right around people. Like they're so intent on killing this dog. And I heard ahead of time, this is one of those things where like an alien is like a symbiote and he's like taking over people and like becoming them. It's pretty much Among Us, the game, the movie. I don't know if it's based on the movie or not, but anyway, you're trying to figure out who is the thing and who has the alien in them, because it could be more than one person too, I think. But maybe not. I think that's the whole point though, right? If it gets loose, it can infect the whole world and wipe out the ghost again. I swore I saw a ghost right here. Keep your eyes peeled. So yeah, I thought it was this one dude because when the dog jumps upon the guy, I thought it was that guy because maybe he just had to touch him, but then he didn't exhibit any symptoms or didn't act any weird. And then there's just one scene where the guy goes into a room with the dog, so you think that's when he changed into the guy, but maybe he didn't. So then there's this theory that Kurt Russell is the alien the whole time. I haven't really watched that movie yet, or the video yet, to see how that works out, but like, I don't know, it's a pretty interesting movie. Everybody says it's like a classic, it's one of the best movies of all time, but there it is right there. What the fuck is that? Right in front of my face. I'm seeing it. Not anymore, but like it was right in front of my face. Is that it? There's a ghost in this video. Keep your eyes peeled. There it is. Where the fuck? I think it's probably just fruit flies. I had a sack of potatoes that went rotten in my kitchen the other day, and I've had fruit flies everywhere. So, maybe we're just seeing fruit flies. But it is Halloween. Anyway, then I read City of Ghosts. That's another one for the ghosts. I just made a video about that book if you want to watch it. It's young adulty, mid-grade kind of. And then I watched Hellraiser 2022 remake. I'm still like haven't seen all the old ones, but I skipped ahead and I watched 2022, and it's like a female Pinhead, so it's different, I think, so it doesn't really matter. Pretty much, the rich guy is a different puzzle box too. Puzzle box has like 6 different forms it can take, and you get to choose if you make it through all 6 forms, because it always like pulls out a knife after it switches and it cuts you, and if you bleed, and they send the Cenobites to like send you to a realm of suffering. So once you've sacrificed 6 of your friends, then you get to make a wish, because you get an audience with God, and you can pick lore for knowledge, or resurrection for Lazarus, or Lazarus for resurrection. Something for power, and then I think if you choose power, they make you a Cenobite, which is really fucked up. There was like 3 other options that were kind of like, probably wealth was one or something. I think they all start with L. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty cool movie. That would be demon or alien? Cenobites, they're kind of like aliens, but they're from hell, right? I'm gonna go demon on that one. And then, did I put one for ghosts? For invisible ghosts? Or City of Ghosts? Invisible ghosts. I think that's 8 for ghosts. Ghosts is kicking ass right now. Yeah, also a book. I just finished reading it. It's a young adult romance with a ghost in it. Pretty good story. Then I watched this 2-part. One was in 2020, another one was in 2022, so it's 2 years apart. The series The House in Between. It's a documentary about a haunted house that this woman who did not appear. There's a fly in the room now, so if you see a fly, it's not a ghost. She didn't appear very trustworthy. She just didn't seem like she was that smart. I don't know, maybe she's living in this. She has this house. She's afraid to live in it because it's so haunted. And they have this staircase. They always put baseballs and like dolls and stuff on it, and they watch it get knocked down the stairs. And then the lights get turned on and off by this ghost. And they do like some EVP shit with it, like basic ghost hunter stuff. And then like they have a bunch of psychics come there, and they tell them that they think somebody killed a bunch of people and buried them in the backyard, or maybe like the house was built on top of what used to be a cemetery. And I should put Ouija. No, Ouija boards ought to count as demon, I think. I got 2 things coming up there about Ouija boards. Yeah. It's kind of weird. These 2 guys that were like helping her do these ghost investigations at her house for like years. And then they bring in this woman called Elizabeth Saint. And she was like taking it super serious, all the ghost hunting stuff. She had like some real scientific instruments that would measure axes, and they were like energizing ions, like making them like positive or negative charge, and like filling up space with energy before they would do their ghost hunting stuff. And like, I like that. She was taking it real serious. I'm like, let me look this girl up because she seems cool. And then all of a sudden she's got like an OnlyFans and she's a part-time model. I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of those deals. I marked that one down, right? House in Between as ghosts. I don't think I did. That'd be freaking 9. Maybe I just keep forgetting. Then I watched Exorcist Believer. That'd be another one for demons. Yeah, this is kind of one of the ones where it's like the original Exorcist. These 2 girls get possessed because they went into this like tunnel in the woods for some reason. There was a tunnel and they came back possessed with demons. Didn't make a lot of sense. So then they get the priest to try to like get permission from the Catholic Church to do an exorcism. He won't do it, and the priest kind of like bails on them, and they all have to like use their faith in each other. And there's this nun that didn't actually become a nun, and she decides she has to use her faith to be the leader of this exorcism group, and then the priest decides, fuck it, I'm going to help anyway. This is kind of like, I think this is one of the 2 movies I watched where people had their necks completely twisted all the way around and broken. Was that this movie? I think it was. It was okay. Didn't hate it. Then I watched Ouija. There's another movie, Ouija Awakening. At least one other movie, anyway. This one is about a woman who finds a Ouija board in her attic, and I think this is the one where like she had a... They were playing with the Ouija board, and one of the rules is you can't play in a graveyard, and it turns out she had... Someone was killed, and like her remains were in the basement, so technically her house was a graveyard, and they broke the rules, so then the ghost that they thought was terrorizing them was actually the good ghost, and then the ghost they thought they were helping was the bad ghost. Because they went to this woman that was the sister of the dead person, and it's the woman from the Insidious movies. I'm like, oh my god, it's her! And she's like tricking them, and she got them to like free the ghost. She's like, my sister's gonna kill you now. I'm like, what? So then they had the bad ghost and the good ghost fight. Like, I think that was a common meme that kept coming up a couple of times. Pretty cool. I liked it. Then that was definitely... See, that was a Ouija board. Yeah, that's a ghost thing. That's a ghost. Not demons. You can conjure demons with Ouija boards, though, I think. Then I watched The Elevator Game. Now, this is the one that's based on a meme game prank thing where it's like you go to the elevator and you go up to floor 4-2, and then second floor, then the 6th floor, then the second floor, then 10th floor, and then you go to the 5th floor and you close your eyes, and this woman gets on the elevator and gets behind you, and you don't talk to her and you don't look at her. If you do, she'll kill you. And then when you hit the 1st floor, the elevator goes up instead of down. It takes you to this place called the Red World, and this guy's sister got trapped there. So his plan to get his sister back was to get a group of people that are like social media influencers that are making YouTube videos to like infiltrate them and get them to play the game so that they would help find his sister. Like, why don't you just do that on your own? They're just like influencers. They don't know shit about ghosts. They're just like trying to make money. They're not experts. This was a horrible plan. Like, why would you choose them? So then they end up going up and down this elevator like a bunch of times, and like the ghost gets free, and it's like chasing them because they broke a rule or something, and they finally have to get rid of the ghost. They got to do the game correctly without breaking the rules. It was pretty dumb, pretty dumb. So Elevator Game, I guess technically it's about ghosts. Because this woman died in the elevator shaft, so she became a ghost that was haunting the elevator. But it says you can play the game anywhere in any elevator in the world. So that doesn't make sense if she's haunting this one specific elevator. The Red World was pretty cool, though, because there's like a big X in the sky, kind of like Stranger Things. And it turns out when she got crushed by the elevator, there's like lights under it that made like an X. So it's like her last moments is like the world that was being created or something like that. Anywho, there was this series that came out called Suburban Screams by John Carpenter, and I watched the first one of that, and that one was about a guy who makes a Ouija board out of an old pizza box, and it works. It's like it works really good. Like the planchette moves on its own and stuff too, and it was about this girl, and like he's dating this woman, and the woman freaks out because it starts spelling out the name Kelly, Fitz. She's like, I have this friend, Kelly Fitzgerald, and you're fucking with me, and why would you do this to me? And she gets mad and leaves. Turns out at the end of the movie, her name was Kelly Fitzpatrick. So, like, did she not know her own friend's best name, or her real name? Why would she say Fitzgerald if her name was Fitzpatrick? I think they fucked up in the script. They wrote it wrong. He ends up, like, trying to help the girl, and the other guy was kind of like, he would participate in a session, but then he acted like he was halfway in on this whole deal, like helping him. He didn't do shit. They actually found the body. I think she'd washed down a river, like some homeless people had killed her and wrapped her in a sleeping bag. And she died, like, from drowning. Like, they didn't even stab her or anything. So she was like, there wasn't any kind of trickeries with, like, it's not the real ghost you're trying to summon. It's like a different one. I don't think that was in that movie. So that's pretty cool. Did I put that one down? No, that was another ghost. Oh my god, ghosts are just dominating. I thought it was going to be like all vampires, but it turned out to be all ghosts. So then Tommyknockers, the series, I started watching. I think I'm almost done with it. Yeah, I'm watching it right now. I'm in the middle of the second part. It is ridiculous. I made a whole thing just for the Tommyknockers. This one point, this woman's dog gets infected with Tommyknocker green stuff, so she takes her to the vet, and the dog comes out, and all these animals freak out in the vet clinic. I mean, it's just like cartoonishly stupid stuff happening. This is like an old 80s movie, I guess, with Stephen King. Oh, yeah, Stephen King. Yeah. So in the vet clinic, in the waiting room, there's an owl. Somebody has a pet owl. And then there's a cobra slithering around, like, freaked out by this dog. And there's a Komodo dragon. The guy has, like, a Komodo dragon on a leash. What fucking vet clinic has a Komodo dragon and a cobra and an owl in it? That's the most ridiculous, cartoonishly stupid thing I've ever seen, maybe. And then there's a scene where he's hitchhiking. The drunk guy is, and he's like, that just made me reminisce of like the 80s and like the times when you could hitchhike and just like meet new people and just find a friend. Just, I got a bag of donuts in the back if you're hungry, and you start having conversations about life and philosophy and just random stuff, and just like hang out with a stranger. Hitchhiking. Wish we could bring it back. People don't even trust each other enough to have like regular trick or treating. They have trunk or treat now. Why would they? Nobody's going to hitchhike now, unless you get super like desperate and you're homeless or something. Then you got to worry about drugs. Anyway, there's another scene where these two cops, they start dating each other and they're eating ice cream on a bench, and then all of a sudden they just, let's go home. And they just like leave their ice cream sitting on this table and it's like, leave. I was like, well, cops, you're littering. What are you doing? And then there's a scene where like she fixes her hot water heater and he's surprised the hot water's working, so he turns it on. He's like, I burned my hand. And he's like, go downstairs. Did you fix the hot water heater? Let me go see what this kind of alien shit you got going on. Just leaves the hot water running in the sink. It's like, what are it's not people acting in a movie. They don't act like real people. It's like they're eating food and he's like, nah, fuck it. I got another scene to do. Throw this food in the trash. Get rid of it. I ain't got time to be finishing eating this. What was the other thing I saw where somebody did that? They're like, right in the middle of eating, they just like quit. Like, I got other things to do. And there's this other cop that's like cheating on his wife with this hot blonde woman that works with him at the post office. They're pretty much just having sex on the bags of letters. Somebody's gonna get an envelope with jizz on it or something. It's like, this movie's crazy. And they get some tools to like dig up the spaceship, which is supposed to be a flying saucer, but it's just like a bunch of cubes sticking out of the ground. Like, why did they change it? Everybody knows what an alien spaceship looks like. It doesn't look anything like that. And they started getting like a machete and like a saw. Like, you're digging up dirt. What are you doing with a machete and a saw and stuff? This is weird. This movie's just super weird. Anyway, don't watch it. And then finally, I'm gonna put this under musical. I watched The Nightmare Before Christmas because I'm calming down. I'm trying to like ease into like not as scary stuff. And everybody talks about Nightmare Before Christmas, so I've never seen it. I thought I was afraid it would be too much of a Christmas movie, but it was pretty Halloween-y. But it was a musical. And it was too much of a musical where there's like hardly any dialogue and it's just all like singing and just... I didn't really get it. It's just like there's a Halloween world and there's a Christmas world, and he's like bored of the same shit all the time, so he goes to like try to steal from the Christmas world or be Santa Claus or something. I fell asleep halfway through for a little bit, but it's just like if they had done it like the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I mean, that was a musical too, like the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser and all that kind of stuff, but it was like most of the story was like just regular not animatronics, what do you call it? Play-Doh. Claymation. But it's like people talking and having real dialogue. I think it could have been better. I don't know if they'd done it like the old style. What company made that? Well, it wasn't Disney. Who made all those old claymation movies? I need to look that up. Anyway, that is the end. Looks like Ghost won out with 11. Vampires and Demons and Stephen King tied at 5 apiece. Zombies had 4. That seems high. Aliens had 1, but it technically could have been 2 if you count Tommy Knockers, or 3 if you count the book and the TV series. And so, yeah, musicals had 2. So, Ghost went out this Halloween. That's pretty much sums it up. And now I'm going to bed and get ready for November and deer season.